and thank you very much for all the listeners of the New Joy International Gospel Church. Today I welcome Pastor Kofi Amoateng, author of the Four Quadrants.
Yes, sir.
It's a pleasure to welcome you,
Thank you very
Pastor.
much, sir. It's a pleasure to be here.
Once more, congratulations for the book. And this is just a couple of questions from the book,
Wow.
which is aimed at clarifying some of the points in the book, which I personally see to be very, very important. So welcome, Pastor.
Thank you very much, Doc. Thank you. It's a
Yeah,
pleasure.
we go straight to the point that relates to the book itself. First, I will give a very privilege to the broad question of what sort of book is it?
That's a very good question to start with, Doc, and thank you very much for organizing this book review and interview. I believe that is going to go a long way to help other people who are reading the book and who intend to read the book, and also to educate the general public as well. To start with, the book is simply a timeless principle book. We have fiction, we have this, we have that. The Four Quadrants to Greatness is a timeless principle inspiration book, period. In other words, what it simply means is that anyone who picked this book should get ready to encounter timeless principles that has the capacity of changing your life in whatever sphere that you are in. So that is what I'll say.
Thank you very much. Yes, this is a good example of immortalizing yourself, and we thank you for that gift.
Yes, sir.
Of timeless principles to govern our lives. Let me just move straight into the other question, which is that of the audience. What is the principal audience of this book? Who is this book for?
That's a very good question again. This book is for everybody, but it's also not for everybody. I normally say that, and I get people to say that. I hope that we do understand. The book is for anybody who understands the principle of being born with something and wanting to do something with what you really want to achieve and really want to do. So this is the category of people that this book is for, who wants to find meaning to their life, people who want to take whatever they have to, normally what I say, the next level. I call it the Four Quadrants because it contains 4 key principles biblically that anybody who wants to achieve greatness. And I believe that everybody is born to be great. So this book is for everybody. But then you must be ready to sometimes change your thinking, to challenge your thinking, and to challenge you to be able to absorb what this book contains. So these are the category of people that I say it is for. For somebody who feels he doesn't need principles to live or any of that stuff, then this book is not for you. But anyone who is doing something believes that he can grow and become more in whatever he or she is doing, this book is for you.
That's good. That's it. Thank you. Let's return a little bit to the title of the book, The Four Quadrants to Greatness. Yeah. Walking in Kingdom Dominion.
Yeah.
The whole idea of presenting ideas in a conceptual model, is it your style of writing, or it is the way the book has been inspired?
I think that's a good question. The two goes together. It's the style of writing and the way the book goes together. What I wanted to portray and what I do portray in this book is a biblical principle that affects you no matter who you are. And I brought it in a way to show people that there are 4 key ways that can change and transform your life wherever you are listening to us. Whatever you do, you've got to first of all find yourself. As a matter of fact, I keep saying to people that there is what are called the silent quadrants that are never mentioned about. The silent quadrant is simply the seed. You know, the seed of a fruit is always inside the fruits. Okay, but we normally talk of the fruit, we never talk of the seed, because every fruit has a seed inside it already. Any man listen to me have a seed of, you know, impregnating your wife if you are married, inside of you. The babies that come out is what we normally talk about. We normally don't talk of the seed. So the way that we wrote the book is to push it in that 4 quadrants, or that 4 levels, where we talk on the fruitfulness, the ability to therefore pick whatever you are fruitful with and multiply it, the ability to replenish, and the ability to subdue. And these I keep sharing with people. We can look at it from the 4 aspects of, you know, making success in the world. You are either you start as an employee, that's the first level, that's the first quadrant I'll talk about. You can move on, you must move on from being an employee if you want to achieve more, to have a to own your own kind of business, or become self-employed, and then you go into business owner, and then you go into an investor. You know, and these are the 4 levels of greatness that each and every one of us can achieve. And that is why I wrote this book in that way, so that it will affect the principles of education and every aspect of life.
It sounds, in fact, if I perceive it very well, it means it can be a fundamental driver of the way you approach even your professional life.
Exactly. 100% right on that one.
Now, this takes me to a certain perspective in reflecting on the book, which is when I start first personally, I read the book first of all as a believer. In that respect, I can empathize with your admonitions of the book. But I also read the book putting on the cap of somebody who is very used to looking at books from a point of view of a methodical doubt.
Yes.
Methodical doubt, that means critical thinking.
Yes.
So, what would you say to somebody who has nothing other than looking at a book from a methodical doubt position, from a critical perspective, who is not a believer? Great
one on that. What I would say specifically to people in that category is, that's why the first question that you asked me is very key to this question. I want everybody to look at this book from the principled point of view. You know, everything changes, but principles don't change, and I call it timeless principles. It don't change. Now, we may have their own principles. That is not what I'm talking about. This book is written from a biblical point of view, which is a biblical principles. But I normally tell people that what is true is the same. You know, true is universal, or truth is universal. When I pick the color blue, it is the same color blue in America. It's the same color blue in Ukraine. So the blue color, for instance, is a principle that has not changed. Now, I don't want anybody picking the book, or if you are picking the book, don't think beyond just being a Christian. That's why those who are not can look at this book from a principle point of view and get some truth in it. And the way the book is written is also another reason that I'll get people to get this book and assimilate the information that we've put in there, because this book is written, based on the 4 dimensions of man. It's amazing I talk about the 4 quadrants, but then we can also talk of the 4 dimensions. What are the 4 dimensions? I wrote this book from the physical point of view, from the spiritual point of view, from the emotional point of view, and from the intellectual point of view. Okay. So whether you can see it physically, you will get something from there. Whether you can view it spiritually, does not matter where you come from, you can get something from there. Whether you can look at it from the emotional world, you can get something from there. Whether you can look at it from the intellectual world, you can get something from there.
Some would argue, Pastor, that principles do change.
Yeah.
The only thing that doesn't change is the first principle, which is anything that is to do with God's words. So how do you differentiate those?
like I rightly said, when man builds his own principles, then it can change. But like you rightly said, when God's principle comes in, it does not change. And this book is not written from the principles of man point of view, and that's why I like to stress it out for our audience and anybody who is holding on to this book to see. This book is written from the God point of view, really. So wherever you are, those principles rotate our lives. You cannot change the manufacturer, you cannot change the creator. All right, and every product is successful because of when the manufacturer says so. And this time, we as human beings, our manufacturer is God. And no matter who you are, and I know that a lot of people have doubts, and I try to break certain things for them to think, even in the physical point of view, so that it can help eradicate their doubts and help build up something on their inside that will come out on the outside. So it's good that some physical principles change, but then when it is a timeless principle, and I keep saying it's timeless, because it is really coming from the perspective of the manufacturer, the creator of man. That is what I'm talking about.
First principle.
The first principles.
Yes.
That's what I will say. Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, one of the key concepts that underpin the book is that of the dominion. I find that very, very interesting. But at the same time, from the point of view of methodical doubt, I start wondering whether is this not the same competitive language that is not of God, that of vanity. You will compete and defeat everybody, dominate, dominion, or building of dynasties, or those kind of colonization and that kind of stuff that has not done any good than trouble the world.
Yeah.
Isn't that the same concept? Dominion.
It's a very, very big question, and I don't know whether we have much time to really digress into it. I think one of the problems I see in our world is the way the world defines things, and the way the creator or the manufacturer also define things. It's really different. From the world point of view, when we say somebody is domineering, that means that person is controlling the life of other people and telling them what to do, and stepping on their toes and all this stuff. And that's why the point keeps coming that this book is unique and special, because it is coming directly from the influence of the creator. Now, if you look at the word dominion really in its original form, the word dominion simply means influence. It simply means the ability to impact. It simply means the ability to do something and make a difference in people's lives. It has nothing to, stepping on people's toes. And that's why everybody needs to get this book. And that's why everybody needs to read this book and learn something different. Because as we grow up, our environment shapes us, and our culture can shape us. But then it gets to a point in your life that you should be able to ask some questions and get the real truth. The fact that the whole world may be clapping for you does not mean that you are successful. That's one of the things. The fact that the whole world can be clapping for you. Yes. I've heard of people we call quote unquote celebrities. They come out, everybody claps for them. Yeah. But then when they go home, and then when they get alone, they cry and they commit suicide. And people tend to think, what is happening? Because the way the world is defining success is something different. And the world the creator has defined success is something different. The word dominion that we emphasize in this book is the original form of dominion, which talk about the ability to influence somebody, not stepping on that person. The ability to make a difference, not reaping from that person. The ability to make other people's life better. Now, the more you make somebody's life better, the more you are. But the more you reap from people, that's how successful the world say you become. So this kind of dominion we're talking about is from the original intention of the creator's mind. And that is the kind of dominion that you have that, and I have that. Now, if we understand that, then yes, we can compete, like you said. But this time we are competing not to destroy ourselves, but then we are doing it in a way to make each other better, in a way for us to move forward.